What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. We made it through 2021. All right. So 2020 was bad, but 2021 was it was all right, but then it started getting a little shaky towards the end. So we're going to do a end of the year review. All right, I had some good calls this year. I had some bad calls this year. All right. So we're going to talk about some of the good stock moves this year and some of the bad stock moves this year and kind of try to get an idea of where we can go in the future. All right. So this is an interactive session. This is an interactive session. Looks like my brother is on. He said, "Brother, I hope people can appreciate your transparency." So, for over a decade, I've been sharing I've been sharing what I've been going through with the market. I've been sharing some of my ups. I've been sharing some of my downs, and a lot of people really appreciate the transparency that I've given. As a trader, as an investor, as a father, as a husband, right? Dealing with COVID, dealing with personal matters. Like when I first did the Millionaire Challenge back in 2017, it was crippled, by my father dying, right? So, there's a lot of things that I've overcome over the last 10 years that I've shared publicly with you guys. And, I know that a lot of us don't know each other, but, in the insider trading room and some of these trading rooms, I feel like we're family. We're there to help each other. We're there to boost each other up, when we need that help. And we I love bigging up people, right? If you have receipts, if it's your first time ever buying something, I'm always the first person to be like, hey, good job, good work. Let's go over that stock. Let's see what we can do in the future to make sure that we can make more money. So I've always been the biggest cheerleader, the biggest hype man in the room, but I also am not afraid to share some of the things that I'm interested in or I'm buying because I don't really like keeping information to myself. I did that my whole life. And at this particular age, I gotta leave a legacy. I gotta leave my name somewhere, right? So, this is a God-given talent to me, to be able to stop pick, to be able to coach, to be able to educate. So I kind of share some of my skills with you guys, and then I like to have fun and make some money on the way. So, Garnell, and I've just recently become familiar with Garnell, going back and forth through DM, educating this, that, and the other. But yeah, this is like a family. If I let you inside the room, I'm gonna treat you like family. And if you're not gonna respect, a lot of the things that I have to give to the room, then we kick you out of the room, right? Because we give so much, we don't really ask that much from as far as return. We just want to see you guys doing well. All right. I do have another room called the Ninja Trading Room. And in that Ninja Trading Room, it's a room that I've created where if you've shown me any type of love, if you bought any products from me, if you've done any consultations with me, that's a room that I give for free to anybody, like I said, that has given me love over the years, because this education thing is kind of new to me, right? I've been doing it. I've been doing consultations, I think, for the last, what, 2, 3 years. And I've been educating, I've been coaching my whole life, right? But I wanted to make sure that before I started to educate you guys, I wanted to make sure that I was legitimate enough to be able to even be listened to, right? Because a lot of the times we listen to people just because they're smart. And we've all gone to college, right? We all got degrees, right? We've all been winning our whole lives, but that doesn't mean that you should listen to me as a guru, right? So, I've had to buy things, I've had to have percent gains, I've had to show you guys, I had to show you guys mentally what I was going through. I had to psychologically have these webinars to kind of explain to you guys mentally what you're probably going through to try to receive those gains, because believe it or not, holding something like Bitcoin for 3 years was not an easy feat, right? Owning Tesla through the ups and downs when it was ranging between 180 and 280 was a hard feat to do, and you had to mentally figure out how to get through the ups and downs. Nvidia was one of my great calls. Man, Ford, when I told everybody about Ford earlier this year, like early this year, late last year, man, so many darts were being thrown at me because Ford had been going down for what, 20 years. And I had to have the moxie to come out and say, guys, look, I have a proven record. These are some of the things that I see. I think this is when we should be buying Ford. At least we can buy it until it hits the $10 mark. If it gets to the $10 mark, we're going to hold it, try to get to the $20 mark. A lot of you guys came on came on the profit. A lot of you guys came along for the ride and made a whole bunch of money in the options market and in the stock market. But some of you guys just didn't know me, right? So why would you listen to somebody that you don't know or you've been in the room? So I know there's a lot of you guys that have been in the room for a minute. When I do consultations now, people say, Joel, I've been watching you for a year or two just to make sure that you're legitimate, my brother. Because most people are not going to show their things. They call out things and they don't own up to their mistakes. And it seems like you're a lot different than everybody else, and that's my claim, right? That's what I want to do. And to make myself accountable, I have all of my family in the room, all of my Florida family. I got like 100 cousins. They probably on here right now bigging me up, right? I got my Indiana family. I got my Howard University family, right? I got my city of Atlanta Dolphins. I got my cats from Southwest DeKalb, Decatur, where it's greater. So there's a lot of people that are in this room that I can't let down, or I can't even lie about certain things without one of you guys coming out like, come on, Joel, you ain't do that, or you ain't do that, right? My wife's in the room, my sons are in the room, my mom's in the room, right? And a lot of the times they're quiet, they don't really say much, but they're watching, right? And while I'm putting on a show, I gotta make sure that I stay as legitimate as I possibly can, because if I let one of them down, I let the whole family down. So there's a lot of weight that I have to carry, being transparent in the room, but that comes with the territory. I get a lot of hate, and I've learned how to deal with that hate, right? I take that hate in, and any questions or concerns I have, I prove all the haters wrong. And I make a lot of people angry. I make a lot of people leave the room. I have a lot of people that don't talk to me anymore because of it. But it's not my fault. If you're going to throw a punch at me, I'm an athlete. I'm a counter trender, right? And I'm gonna prove myself, because I gotta prove it to my whole family. There's a lot of people that are counting on me to win, right? All right, so we're gonna get to some of you guys' stocks, but I have to get that rant out for the end of the year because it was a very tough year. We had to go through, like I said, we had to deal with COVID. I got a mother-in-law, a father-in-law, I had a kid that all have COVID like right now, right? My oldest son just got off of his 10-day quarantine, right? And then my other son had to go into quarantine. My wife was staying at a whole nother hotel because she was dealing with her her health issues. Her father has COVID. Her mother has COVID. My mom is quarantining by herself. So I'm struggling just like you guys. But at the same time, if I'm going to struggle and I'm sitting here by myself, I might as well make some money doing it as well. So I understand the trials and the tribulations that we go through as humans. And my job is to say, man, I see you guys, I see what you've been doing. We all struggle and we strive together, but 2022 is just going to be a lot different for me, right? I got a lot of stuff off of my chest this year. I did a lot of ranting this year about a lot of other teachers, a lot of people that have come through the room, taken all the education, taken me for granted, right? Called me all types of names in front of everybody. And, a lot of the times they say, Joel, just take the high road and you don't have to prove anything to anybody. But if you know me, I'm a fighter, right? I'm going to fight, right? That's just me. And the people that really know me, you know where that comes from, right? Those people that have been by my side when we were fighting, whether it was on the football field or whether it was swimming or whether it was anything. All right. So again, I got that off of my chest. My big brother has always been there as support. Love that dude. Love you guys that are in the room. And let's do this thing. All right. I don't want to get too sentimental. I do this every single year. We're gonna have a good 2022. I can feel it, right? I know I got the biggest megaphone, but I don't know everything. I don't. Now, I am the best stock picker in the room, period. Can't nobody pick stocks better than me. All right. All right. I can pick them from A to Z and I can show it to you. Now, I didn't make the most money and I don't claim to make the most money, right? There's people in the room handling $10 billion accounts. All right. I can't reveal those names. There are people in the room that have $20 million in their account that I help manage those. I don't manage those accounts, but we talk about some of their investments, right? I have tons of millionaire friends. And that's not to brag, it's just where I've come from, right? When you go to Howard University and you rub elbows with a lot of successful Black people from all over the world, you're gonna come in contact with a lot of people from different areas. And as we get older and accumulating all of these funds, especially with my wife being in the medical field, meeting millionaires and seeing people with millions of dollars in their account is normal. And what we're trying to do is make it real for you guys. So if it feels like it's not attainable, believe me, there's a lot of people in the room that just don't say anything. They're just sitting back and they're letting me speak for them. All right. Remember, I'm doing a lot of consultation. So we're going to look at some of these stocks. We're going to change our attitude when we go into this new year. All right. I'm gonna try my best to not rant as much. I'm gonna try to leave that in 2021 with COVID, with Omicron. And we're gonna start off this new year a little bit different. We're gonna position ourselves a lot better. If you're not educated, I'm not gonna beat you up about it like I used to do. All right. We just gonna get you educated. Whatever you need to get educated on, we're gonna make sure that we try to provide that information for you. If you come in the room and I'm not gonna try to beat up people over some of their trades anymore. We're going to talk about those trades. We're going to know if we're gambling or if we're trading, and we're not going to laugh at you because some people just can't take that type of ridicule, because we've all made mistakes. And I realize that a lot of different people are built differently. Some people can handle punches, some people can't. So I as one of the leaders in the room, I have to be able to understand all of this stuff. All right. So Justice said, man, don't cry on us, Joe. I'm not gonna cry. I promise. That's why I got the shades on. But believe me, a lot of this, this means a lot, right? You taught me so much. I appreciate that, bro. You caught my ear one day when you was going on a rant. I've been listening ever since. Keep ranting. All right, the rant comes from love, right? The rant comes from love. I'm not gonna argue with you if I don't feel like you can be better than you are. That's why you guys hear me rant the way that I do about these stocks, because a whole bunch of money was made this year and a lot of people did not take advantage of it. Right. And a lot of the time, some of the things that I talk about, I know I can come off the way that I come off, but I have a track record, right? So you don't have to take all the trades that I take, but what I want you to start doing is analyzing those stocks, and let's talk about that stock. Let's analyze that stock. Let's look at it from all different angles so that we can make an educated guess and see if that can possibly happen. So Arnessa, she's laughing at me, which is kind of fun. We laugh with each other. But let me get to these stocks. David said 100%. Another Facebook user said, "Amen. Thank you." All right, so let's get the some of these stocks. So let's look at the year in. Let's look at some of the top stocks of the year. All right, so these are the best performing S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100 stocks of 2021. Now, this is not my list. Now, you're going to find that on these lists, there are going to be a lot of stocks that I talk about, and I am going to say, I told you so. I'm going to say it. This is when I get to do it. I told you so. I told you to buy Ford. All right. This is my chance to say, I won. I won. I did it. All right. But we're going to do it again next year. All right. So I'm going to do it. All right. So some of the top producers. I mean, what is the first thing that they showed, right? The top performer, Ford. All right. Who was the biggest pusher of Ford this year? Now, I promise y'all, anybody that said, Joel, you crazy, Ford ain't going to win, they ain't going to come in the room and say, Joel, you were right, brother. They're not going to do it. I'll do it. If I'm wrong, I'll be like, I'm wrong. If somebody makes a trade, I'm going to be like, you called it, you are the best. And I don't have no qualms with it. Like I'm going to give the recognition when the recognition is due, because as a black man, to be honest, guys, like black men really do need that, right? We were getting shot in the streets, right? Getting killed for no reason. And for so long, people just felt like because blacks are strong and through slavery, they picked the bucks, and the bucks mated with the strongest women, that we're just strong and we don't have feelings and this, that, and the other. And it's like, yo, black people need to big each other up. Like, that's one thing that we don't do. Like, we just be sitting back and we don't want to try to tell the next man that he's doing all right. Not in our room. If you doing cool, we gonna be like, yo, keep doing what you do, keep pushing it. Let me know about that next stock. And if you come in there, if you come in the room and it's just like a lucky trade, we gonna call you out on it, right? But we gonna say, all right, why did you buy that? Was it just because you're Reddit in a Reddit room? Like, that's not to be an asshole. It's just that, what was the process of you buying that stock? Because the insider trading room was created so that you can ask yourself, why the heck did I buy this? And what was my goal when I bought it? And as long as you can ask yourself or say to yourself, this was a gamble, or this was a legitimate trade, or this was a qualified trade, that's where the props are going to come, right? So there's a lot of reasons why I told you guys to buy Ford. I really don't need but a couple of the people that made money with me to understand why we did it, because we showed y'all the options contracts. We showed y'all the charts, the indicators that we were using. We told you why. We even told you what market cap we thought it can go to in comparison to Tesla. Right? So many different reasons. I literally talked about Ford, I think 90% of the sessions that I had, but most people didn't want to buy it because Joel said buy it. That's great. Moderna. I've been pushing Moderna since we had the vaccines. We've been pushing Pfizer and Moderna and Novavax. Those are the three. Those are the only three that we talk about. Pfizer, Moderna, and Novavax. We talked about them for 18 months. So if you didn't make money on it, it's because you weren't listening. All right. NVIDIA. My younger son called NVIDIA. Y'all see that little young video I put out when my son was like, he's 15 now. I think he was like 10 years old. I show that video at least once a month because I'm so proud of how my son literally picked one of the best stocks on the planet. And when he introduced me to that particular stock, I started buying more and more of it. And then I put out my receipts. And then I have people come in the room say, Joel, you just created that fake receipt. I'm like, what? Like I'm literally in a video with my son, taking down his bunk bed because he used that money to invest in NVIDIA. My wife is on the call talking about NVIDIA. And then you got cats coming in the room talking about, Joel, where's the receipts? When were you talking about NVIDIA? And that's when I say, you know what? People just want to hate. Like they just want to hate just because they don't want to see my family win. We've been talking about Nvidia for over 5 years. Not only were we talking about Nvidia, I did a challenge in the room. Like there's a challenge right now to, I'm not going to take part in it because I got other goals for next year. But there was a challenge. There's a challenge in the room to see who can make, I think, the biggest return in the next year, right? I used to take part of those challenges. To be honest, there's a cat in the room right now named Jason. Jason, if you listening, Jason was the first person in the room to create a challenge for the room. It was called the M1 Finance Challenge. I took part in it. My wife took part in it. About 100 of us took part in it. And that's when we were introduced to the M1 Finance platform, and it was kind of fun because it was new because it was one of the first companies that was allowing partial shares to be bought, so you can create your own pie and you can add to those stocks, and then over the years, we can see, you can create that stock mortgage. We can see what that value can be over a 3 4 5 year period. It's been like 4 years. I think the first year, I keep saying that the first and second year my wife won because she was up like 150 or 200%, something ridiculous, right? And we all laughed about that because I'm supposed to be the guru, and my wife then made a 200% return on a challenge, and it was kind of funny, right? So, you know, there's just been different challenges that's in the room, but I always want to give props where props are due because there's a lot of cats in the room that don't have the type of megaphone that I have, that do great things in the room that we don't really talk about too much, right? Some of the cryptocurrency players in the room, like Pete, right, that's been giving us great calls like over the years off of Cardano and Ethereum that I've made a lot of money off of, right? But again, like my son calling out Nvidia, but we don't really talk about some of the people that actually make some of these calls that I invest in. But Moderna, Ford, and Nvidia were some of the top calls. So let's go through this list. It says oil was one of the largest. Oil was one of the biggest movers of the year. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't buy oil. Period. Y'all know that. It's just personal with me. It doesn't mean that I can't make money anywhere else. It's not like I'm not going to pull up a chart and help you guys buy it. I just don't buy oil. I just don't, and I never will. But oil had a very good year this year because oil had a terrible year for the last 5 to 10 years. So it's going to have a up year. That I'm not taking away any profits or gains some of you have made in the oil space. I'm just saying that, in the last year it did well. The 9 years before that, it did not do well. So be careful if you believe that this is going to be the biggest sector for next year. But this is a list that you guys can go to. You can go on to where am I? I went to Market Watch. You can go to marketwatch.com and literally type, top performers of 2021. I didn't go out here and search this just so I can point in y'all face and say, aha, told you so, Ford. It's just it was just a top performer. It was up 150%. All right. And I've been pushing it, but let's look at this list. All right, let's look at this list. This is the S&P 500. So the S&P 500, consists of the 500 largest companies on the planet. As you can see, number one was Devon, and Marathon Oil was number two. I'm not even claiming Fortinet, but there have been so many traders that asked about Fortinet through these particular sessions that we should have all known about Fortinet. Like we talk about Fortinet at least once every 2 weeks on one of these particular podcasts. All right. Moderna, very easy play. Why? Because of the vaccine. Y'all see this, right? Ford was one of the top 6 in the S&P 500. I'm sorry, it just won. Nvidia was number 8. So I've called 2 out of, the top 10 companies. It looks like a lot of the companies were energy and, like commodity type companies. You got your Nucor, which is steel. You got your Diamondback Energy. So a lot of this was energy. You got your Bath and Body Works. I'm gonna blame that on on the Reddit rooms, right? Uh, your Reddit warriors pushing Bath and Body up. I wasn't gonna buy Bath and Body. I'm sorry, that's just a company I ain't buying. But you got your signature bank. I don't buy banks as well. The only types of companies that I buy that's close to banks are going to be your fintechs, your finance tech banks, your Squares, your PayPals, your Upstarts, those types of companies. All right, even Visa is becoming that type of company. Simon Property Group. I did talk about Simon Property Group a lot. That's your real estate play. So anybody that's interested in commercial real estate, Simon Property Group is a very good company. All right. I also called IIPR. Now, nobody wants to give me props for that. Me and Jason, if you're listening, I'm going to tag you in this. Me and Jason were the only two members out of all the 20 rooms that I've been in that was on IIPR in the beginning. And the reason why we were on IIPR was because the cannabis space was struggling. And I know I keep calling it IIPR. It's called like Innovations Property Group or something like that. The reason why we were on to that company was because they were the real estate side of the cannabis company. And I dumped a lot of money in that company, and it ended up rising to the number one cannabis company on the planet. Ain't nobody gonna give me props for it though. But Joel's gonna pat his own back. All right. So Jason, if you out there, dude, we did it, right? We were investing in that company when it was like number 20 or 30, and we rolled that bad boy up. I've shown you guys my receipts over the last year. Got a lot of hate about that one too. I don't know why. Like, how can you hate on me on a real estate play? Like, the hate is just real. All right. That company also offers a dividend. All right. I've had people come to me and say, "Have you heard about this company, Joel?" I'm like, "I've been in that company for 10 months. What are you talking about? Have you been watching the videos?" That's why it's so important that you guys watch these particular sessions, because there's a lot of very intelligent people in the room that are giving you these stock plays. But instead of just taking it and buying it, what do? We take that stock, we analyze that stock, we look at the market cap, we look at other companies that are similar to see if it's something that we want to buy. We look at the beta, we look at the VIX of the market. There's so many different things that come into play when you're looking for a stock pick. All right. You should have also known that I was one of the only people in the room telling y'all there is a semiconductor shortage. A lot of you guys say, "What does that mean, Joe?" There's a semiconductor shortage. Joel, what does that mean? Well, the semiconductor companies, the companies like NVIDIA, the AMDs, right? The Microns, the ON Semis, the Taiwan Semis. I don't even want to say Intel, but Intel. If there's a semiconductor shortage and semiconductors are used in all of technology, and you understand supply and demand, and the stock market is the basic and the building blocks of business, it was a no-brainer to buy semiconductor companies this year. Every other post, I'm putting out the bat signal. There's a semiconductor shortage. You remember when there was a gun shortage, and I was telling you guys to buy Smith and Wesson, right? When there's a shortage of material, you want to run and buy those stocks. Those are your no-brainer trades. You guys got to start educating yourself on it so that you can understand it. And I know some of you guys, this is your first year, so you're trying to take it all in. All right. But take it all in. But let's look at the best performing mid-cap companies. All right. Number one, GameStop. I ain't even gonna sit here and even lie and say that I made a little bit of money on it. All right. But I didn't call GameStop. I just wasn't there. I wasn't there in the Reddit rooms when this was all being pushed. All right. I made a little bit of money late on it, late on the move. All right. But I'm not going to even call it. But GameStop was number one. Avis was number two. Now, Avis had a really, really good run back in 2008, 2009. We should have known that during a crisis like this, Avis was going to run again. Okay. You got your Alcoa if you're interested in buying, the infrastructure type stocks, X, X Steel and Alcoa and Nucor. Those are all infrastructure plays. These types of companies start to go up in value, especially when real estate is going up. All right. We should have known to get into Synaptics because Synaptics is a semiconductor company. Okay. But if you notice, you got semiconductors all over the place because there was a shortage, right? And then you had the machines that build the semiconductors. They were doing well also. I'm never going to buy retail. You're never going to see me buying anything outside of Amazon. I just don't do it. I'm not going to buy retail because everything is online right now. I don't understand it. I don't even claim to even want to understand it. But if you were in retail, you would have done well with Macy's. You would have done well with is there any other ones here? You would have done well with Crocs. All right, so this list is out there for you guys to look up. And remember, stocks based off of their market cap is going to tell you how big the companies are versus how small. The larger cap companies, I try to call for you guys. I don't really talk about the small cap ones just because we want you to get your foundation in place first, right? I've been pushing stuff like Wingstop and Shake Shack and Shopify when it was small, but we try to make sure that in the beginning you form your foundation before you start getting into these speculative mid cap and small cap companies that can run. Now, out of your small cap companies, Veritiv. I get this one all the time. All right, I don't ever hear about SM. The other day, somebody asked me about Callan. I think yesterday, actually, during my midday money session. But I don't really notice any. I don't even know too many of these companies. Maybe Signet. I'm not gonna buy Signet. Like I just, if I'm gonna get into small cap companies like this, I go to crypto route. I'm in cryptocurrency when it comes to small and mid cap. All right. Other than my smaller restaurants, like I really believe in like I said, the Wing Stops and the Shake Shacks. Right. I rode Chipotle from its lows all the way to its highs. That's one of my better calls as well. But like I said, this list is out there. Now let's look at the NASDAQ because Joel is gonna start getting hype again because all I see are all my stocks at the top. Lucid, number one. Lucid, number one. Lucid, number one. Y'all have seen my receipts, over 100% return. I think I'm up 150, I believe, 150. I think as high as 200. All right, so I'm up pretty big in my Lucid play. I'm even thinking about trimming it down. I might sell all but one share when we get off today. I think that move is over with. All right, Fortinet. We've been pushing Fortinet. Moderna at the top. Nvidia at the top. Applied Materials, we talk about it all the time. Marvel Semiconductor Company. Okay. Datadog. Where's my boy? What is his? I can't believe I forgot your name. He's been out the room for a while. All about Datadog. He told me to buy Datadog a million times and I didn't. So I missed out on Datadog. All right. I think I mentioned it like maybe one or two sessions and then I got off of it. Maybe somebody can go onto the search tab, type my name. Oh, that's another thing, guys. If you guys want to call my bluff, just go into the insider trading room, type Joel across the top, and then type that stock. And then you can type the year and you can see if I was talking about it during that time. You'll be surprised what you'll find. You won't shoot at me so much, right? You'll say, okay, Joel's clapback game is really strong. So I better know what I'm talking about before I challenge him on a particular stock because he claps back fast and he's pretty funny. All right, so my clapback game is really funny. So if you got something, and I love doing it, if you want to challenge me on something, challenge me. If I'm wrong, I will say I'm wrong, but it's rare. All right, we talked about Intuit, Google. Y'all saw my gains. Google was up what 60% this year, and y'all didn't buy Google. All right, you got AMD, AMD, Nvidia, AMD, I'm up about 100% in that one. Palo Alto. All right. So if you're into cybersecurity, I'm surprised CrowdStrike is not up here. All right. You got your Microsoft. I mean, how many names I have on this list that we talk about on a daily basis? Like half the list. So it's interesting to me that the market went straight up this year, and a lot of you guys did not make money. The market was up. I think the S&P was up 25%. Nasdaq was up almost 30%. How did you not make money this year? All right. These were all the stocks we were talking about, the Teslas, the Microsofts. All right. Broadcom. Broadcom had a very good relationship with Apple, right? So if you're buying Apple, you should have been buying Broadcom, right? So again, you can go through this list. The Dow, you got Microsoft on the list. You got Home Depot sitting at number 1. Home Depot. All right, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. All right, so the CEO of Home Depot, the base is here in Atlanta. So we hear about Home Depot all the time. Arthur Blank, he owns the Falcons. So there's no reason why I shouldn't have been invested in Home Depot. One of my favorites. You got Microsoft. I get in and out of Goldman Sachs. I can't stand Cisco. And again, you got your Chevrons. I don't buy oil. All right. If I'm going to buy a company like American Express, I'm going to buy a PayPal or a Visa. All right. We all should have been in Apple. Very easy play. We all should have been in McDonald's in our long-term portfolios. Y'all saw my A to Z list. I got JP Morgan on that list. All right. We talk about Nike. Half my list is this list. Salesforce. Okay. We got your Coca-Cola. All right. You got your Walmarts and your Visas. All right. And then, Boeing was actually down this year. Honeywell ended the year down. Now, here's something very interesting, because if you're looking for a long-term play where you can make some money, check this out. Disney was the worst performer in the Dow. Y'all hear this? Disney was the worst performer. Disney was the worst performer. All Disney has to do, and I know they're doing it right now, all Disney has to do is say, you know what? Bump the regular parks. If you hear Disney even mention the fact that they're going to have a virtual park that you can go to, you need to run and buy the stock, because not only is it on sale, because Disney doesn't sell but 15 or 20% off every year. If they even mention the metaverse, this stock is going to run. I've been loading the boat on Disney. If you want to know what Joel is buying, if you want to know what a millionaire is buying, I'm loading the boat on Disney and PayPal. All right. I don't think it's gonna give you, triple and quadruple gains. But if you're trying to buy a couple of shares for your kids or for yourself, like, why not go with Disney? Disney also owns ESPN. Did you guys know this? They own ESPN. All right. So when the parks finally open back up, if we finally get over this COVID, and we might not ever get over this COVID, this might be the new normal. Companies like Disney are going to be the ones that run the fastest. So if you want to get ahead of the move, why not buy a stock that didn't even perform this year? Okay. That's a sleeper right there. All right. Stay away from Intel. Intel is like, it's just old. You can buy Visa, but I still think you can get more beta in that PayPal. All right. Or that Square. All right. So that's the list. You guys can pull up that list on your own. Let's go look at some of these stocks. I just want y'all to see this again for you Ford haters. All right. Joel called that. All right. So let's look at some of your stocks, and then I'll pull those up. Any other questions? Let me go through the questions list. Shona said, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, guys. We're gonna be more positive in 2022. All right. We're gonna have some fun. All right. We got Noble on the call. Yep, we want to give props to Pete. Pete made me a whole bunch of money in the crypto space. All right, Pete. Now me and Pete, now I've been arguing with Pete lately because we have a fantasy football group, and I think it's been out for like 3 or 4 years. So out of the 3 or 4 years, I've always been playing for the championship, and it's a paid league. And this year was the first year I didn't get to the finals. I was ranked number 3, and I got kicked out of the playoffs. It ended up I think I'm playing for number 5, and I didn't even get a chance to play for second or third place. So we've been going at it. I was telling him his fantasy league was trash. And but that's my boy. When I was out in San Francisco, me and Pete had some drinks and talked about the stock market. So if I'm ever in your town, hit me up. All right. Or and every now and then I don't really tell y'all where I'm going, right? But if you know that I'm in town, and I'm out and about, I'll have some drinks with you. Let's talk stocks. Let's talk about positioning. Let's see what's going on with the market. All right. Somebody said my wife be killing me too, Joe. Women are great. Women are the best. Look, guys. I'm sorry to tell y'all this. Women are the best when it comes to this stock game. Period. They're the ones with the stat sheets. They're gonna approach the market the correct way. They're the ones that listen to me about the stock mortgage and having your 401k and your IRA in place and having your health insurance. The fellas are like, I'll let my wife handle all that, and then I just want to trade. But even with those trading accounts, you gotta have, if you don't have a woman, you gotta find one that can help you position yourself in the market. All right. My wife is great at helping me be the best man that I can possibly be. But we all still know who the best trader is in the house. All right. Even though she get the biggest returns. All right. I'm gonna make all the moves, right? So we have a little system that we have in place. She knows that I get a little bit y'all gonna laugh when I say this, but she is actually the aggressive one, and I'm the conservative one. And I'll talk about something, but I'll try to wait for the right moment to get in at the 200-day moving average when the John Carter goes up, and she'll just buy it. So that's the thing that we have. We were laughing about Dogecoin because I didn't even think that we were invested. And one day, a long time before Doji started to jump, I had mentioned it to her. I was like, yo, I'm going to buy this coin. Elon is involved in it. I think it's dropped in price. I'm going to throw some money at it and see what's going to happen. Y'all know the next day this woman went and put like thousands of dollars in Dogecoin. I don't know if it was thousands, but she put enough money in it where it was a significant amount when we looked up to see what the gains were. And I didn't even know we were invested in it. So sometimes just putting out stock picks, I end up winning anyway because my family knows some of my downfalls, right? And we're here to help each other. So even where I'm weak, you want to try to find a significant other that's strong in the areas where you're weak so that you guys can form that foundation. So but they are the best investors. And then somebody said my wife too. Yeah, IIPR is still a beast. Y'all don't want to give Joe the props for this. I'm going to give myself the championship for that stock. Now, a lot of you guys want to take it away because of CGC. I get it. I know Canopy Growth dropped from 56 to what, $9 a share. I get it. A lot of people are mad right now, but you got to look at the charts. Joel started talking about Canopy Growth. Look up the stats when it was $5 a share the first time around. Canopy Growth grew from $5. I'm going to start pulling up charts so that you guys can see it. Canopy Growth grew from $5 to 60, and then it fell. Then it went to 60 again, and then it fell. All right. I had 1,000 shares. So imagine me having a $9,000 or $10,000 investment that goes to 60, that goes back to 8. So I've been struggling too. But the reason why I'm not tripping off of it is because even though I lost 70 or 80% in Canopy Growth, I ended up making a 300 or 400% return in Curaleaf and IIPR. And because those two stocks alone made me a whole bunch of money, I could have lost everything in CGC because it's not always about that one stock that's losing. Sometimes you guys get it wrong because you picked the worst stock in that industry. That's why you got to start buying pairs. We're going to start talking about pairs a lot more next year so that you guys can buy the PayPals and the Squares or the Visa and the Squares. So if Square is acting a fool, Visa will protect you. Or if CGC is acting a fool, you got IIPR that's working for you. If Shopify is acting a fool, you got Amazon running. If Tesla's acting a fool, you got Ford doing well for you. You got to buy in pairs. We're going to do that a lot next year. We got a user that says semiconductor shortage means that chip stocks go up, period. Period. Guys, when there's a semiconductor shortage, it's supply and demand. It's the basics of business. You guys got to listen out for things like that. You guys got to also listen out for, like, if you know that the government is going, like, a lot of us are scared of next year. And I'm like, why? The government's about to print $5 trillion. I know y'all see 3.5, but if you count all of it up, it's like 5 trillion. They're going to go to the printer and print $5 trillion and then flood the market with it. Where y'all think that money's going to go to? Y'all think it's just going to go into the dirt or under people's beds? It's not. It's going to flow into the market, and it's going to artificially inflate the market. Now, we might not see the inflation of it the first year because there is a statistics that says that the second year of a president's term is his worst. That's a real stat. The third year is the best, and the fourth year is usually up. So the first, third, and fourth year of a president's term, you can pretty much automatically say that the market's going to be up. It's that second year that's the problem. And that's why everybody is uneasy, because they're like, hold up, we got Omicron to deal with, and we got to deal with the president's worst year. And that's what's coming. And that's why people are a little bit afraid, and volatility goes up 50%. I had a friend that called me Rain Man, because he said he says when it comes to anything other than stocks, your memory for statistics and stocks is just something I've never seen before. And I'm like, I don't know why I have that particular gift. I can't remember a lot of things. I can't remember people's face. I can't remember people's names, but I can remember a stock, a percentage that somebody get, because that's just how my brain works. But these are real statistics that you guys can look up. The second year is the worst term, and we usually get a 50% increase in the volatility of the market. So traders should love next year, but investors are going to struggle a little bit. We're going to struggle. Someone said Disney with 2 checks. You should be buying Disney long term. Don't buy. If I buy, like, man, I got people to do this all the time. Joel, I was listening to your end of the year video. I went and bought Disney. I bought a 7-day option on it, and I lost money on it. You are a terrible teacher. And I'm like, yo, you gave it 7 days to make money because I mentioned the stock. You are a new trader. You got to be able to look up the stocks. Quit blaming me for y'all's losses. Quit blaming me for it. You're going to now take these stocks. You can go and see if I talk about it. But what y'all need to do is give me props where props is due. All right? You just got to do it. If I called it, Joel said something about this one. All right. Y'all got to start doing that. We got to start doing this as a family. All right. Otherwise, we're going to always be bickering and fighting and not really making money in this game. And this is about making money in the game and knowing who are the people that are great at what they do. I can call out a Pete, because Pete will come out in the room. He don't talk about nothing but crypto. And Pete will be like, yo, y'all need to be buying this and you need to be buying that. Right? Here's my money. This is how much. Actually, he don't even talk about how much money he makes with y'all. I see the numbers and my eyes are like, what the okay? So you got to know who's good at what. And the only way you going to know who's good at what is the people that are willing to call it out and show it, and then say that they're wrong if they are wrong. And guys, we got to put the egos to the side. And if you call me out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show what I do. And you can get offended and be mad if you want to. But that's what happens when you call me out. I'm going to react, because I have my family in the room that's also watching. And they gonna be like, you just gonna be a punk, Joe? You just gonna let that person say what they said to you? And I'm like, but I'm like 40 years old. Y'all still want, all right, let me put on the gloves and let me do my thing. Because I gotta represent the Harrisons. All right. And that's just what I do. All right. So don't get offended. Another individual. Y'all see how everybody's talking about Disney? We've been looking at Disney. All right. Y'all need to be loading up. All right. Somebody talked about the XLV. All right. XLV did good. All right. That's an ETF. You got the XLF, which is financials. XLV did all right. You got SoFi. SoFi is a fintech. It's one of the fintech companies that we were talking about. We'll look at that in a second. So I'm going to pull up these charts. Actually, let's pull up these charts. I've been talking. Y'all tired of looking at me. Let's pull up some charts. Happy New Year. This is the end of the year review. Let's go ahead and look at before we look at the spiders, let's go and look at XLV. All right. This is an ETF. Now, a lot of people put this in there. It's a healthcare stock. I'm not really into healthcare because my wife's into healthcare. But it bores me to death when I'm investing in it, right? I don't buy UNH. I don't buy any of the healthcare stocks. So unfortunately, as diversified as I am, I don't really call this group. But as you can see, we at all-time highs. Hold on. Let me pull up XLV. And I'm aware of the charts and and where they're located, and it's covering my name. I get that. All right, we just going on the left side of the chart. Y'all just ain't gonna see it. Everything can't always be perfect. All right, what are a couple of the things that we notice about this chart? What do we say about the 200-day moving average? The best place to buy any of these stocks is gonna be the 200-day moving average. All right, didn't quite get there. But as long as we get our room, listen, if there's anybody on this planet other than the man John Carter that's using the John Carter studies, and they are this color, they learned it from this room. Y'all heard what I just said? This is where they learned the information. You guys that don't want to give credit where credit is due, I'm calling y'all out. All right. You don't have to say Joel is the greatest person on this earth. But when people come out and say, I never had anybody teach me anything, and then they give out these other names of people you never heard of, and then they pull up charts that look identical to yours. It's funny to us. We laugh. It's like funny to us, right? But it makes y'all look silly because everybody knows where it came from. But you willing to not acknowledge is what Black people have issues with. And I'm gonna go out there, all the white folks that are on, the other races that's on. I'm Black, so sometimes I air out some of the issues we got going on in our society. This is one of them. All right, so I'm just putting that out there. The story of our room and the stories of how we came about and what we've done. I've been letting everybody else tell the story, and a lot of the people that have been telling the stories are not really fans of the room. So the stories are misconstrued and they're not told the correct way, right? So my job in my 40s is to get the story straight. And the way that you get the story straight is you start showing statistics and you start showing receipts. And you do that long enough where you form a foundation and you have a tab in the room that says receipts where people can go to and look for their own selves. That's all I've been doing for the last 3 or 4 years, making sure that this is one of the most legitimate rooms on Facebook. Shoot, one of the most legitimate rooms, period. All right. So when we're talking about stuff, it ain't no flim flam. Like, we're going to analyze it. And if we bought it, we bought it. If we didn't buy it, we didn't buy it. But this is how you would buy this stock. If it comes near the 200-day, it starts going green on this John Carter. And there's only 2 platforms where you're going to find the John Carter. That's going to be the Thinkorswim platform and the TradeView. You see it going off on the squeeze, that's going to give you a chance to make some money to the upside. All right. Very easy strategy that I teach. Probably the easiest strategy you're ever going to learn on this planet when it comes to investing. I gave it to you for free. I don't care. I want you to make money. I want to have conversations with other people that's making money buying stocks. For a long time, it was just me. Imagine having conversations with myself about buying. It's not fun. All my friends that I grew up with, I can't talk about stocks with them. They still talking about building nightclubs and strip clubs. I'm like, let's buy some stocks. Let's buy some business. Y'all talking about stuff we talked about when we were in our 20s. All right. Opening up restaurants. I have nothing against restaurants. It's just that as you evolve, you start to realize you shouldn't be opening up a restaurant unless you got a lot of liquidity on the side, because that's a hobby. People that open up restaurants, they just do it because they want to have something. It's like the worst business to open up. All right. I don't want to shit on anybody that's about to open up a restaurant. That's just statistics. Okay. Me, Joel, being real. But XLV again came down, hit this, started to go up. You could have bought it. Right. That was a different point. Y'all see how it's the same strategy every single time? Breaks this trend, starts to go green, went blue here. Bam. You make money. Very simple, basic chart on how to make money. God dang, Joel, every single time it hit the 200 day and then it went blue, it went up. Well, it went down right here, but then it started to go up again. Right? You could take a shot every time this thing hits the 200 day. I always call this the magic show. Before I even started educating, I said to myself, I used to tell all of my other friends that were teaching, I said, you got to have that thing that when people watch your videos, it sets you apart. Like you got to have some type of show. Like I'm always been a showman. And I was like, why not create something that can magically happen? And I used to always talk about it. Like, what if somebody just gave you a stock and you just pulled it out of the air and just told them like when to buy it? And I spent my whole life creating a system and a strategy so that I can create a magic show for you guys. This is the magic show. You know, the what would Joe do method of entry for trades and investments. It's a magic show, because every time we look at these particular stocks, you're going to see the same pattern every single time. All right. It's a magic show. And if you understand the magic show, you're going to make money in this game. All right. This is what we're looking at right now on Disney. This is Disney. Disney. All right. 200 day was angled down. This was the March lows. All right. Now, you could have said, it's selling off, Joel. It's selling off, Joel. What's going on? It's underneath the 200. Most people, when they're buying something like a Disney, some of us have a percent that we look for. So if it sold off, remember, Disney, when it sells off 20 to 30%, it's like a buying opportunity. I don't even care what's going on with the stock. So when it was at this high and it dropped in price to this low, Disney had dropped 47%. First of all, anything lower than 20 is supposed to be on sale. This bad boy doubled it and went down 40%. So you should have known to be buying it here. Now, here's what's interesting too. When it was 20% off, because I want to show you some of you cats that are really negative about stocks. That's when it was 20%. Let's just say you just bought it just because it was 20% off. How long did you have to wait for it to come back? That was February the 25th. That was February the 25th. The pain that you had to withstand before Disney came back was August. All right. So that was a nice little February, March, April, May, June, July, August. That was 6 months you had to sit in that trade. The rule is when it hits the 200-day, you kind of want to go about 100 days out, which is 3 months. So it went a extra 3 months after that. But even when it hit 131, it still ended up going higher. Okay. So you struggled for a while. And that's the kind of thing that Disney does. So even if you were to buy it sight unseen, it drops 20%, that's fine. But what you should have done was let it drop 20 to 30%. And as soon as you start seeing it go green on the John Carter, you could take a shot. The confirmation comes when that bad boy starts going blue on the John Carter squeeze. Okay. And then you could have really bought that at the bottom. And then all it did was ride this trend. But so I'm going to show you guys what's happening right now. So if you know how to approach Disney, it's going to follow the same pattern because that's just what stocks do. All right. So if you come over here, we're going to follow the same rules. What were those rules? The rules are back here in March, Disney fell 40%. What is Disney doing right now? Well, the first time it made you a whole bunch of money. Let's see what happened this time. Did Disney sell off 30 or 40% from where it is right now? If you notice, Disney, when it hit its low, was 30%. Now, that wasn't your 40% that everybody was looking for. But when it dropped 40%, remember, that was during COVID. That was the first time we heard about COVID. The first time we heard about COVID. So we were scared and panicking. Now it's 30%. The first time it was 40. Second time it was about 30. And then when it dropped 30 underneath the 200-day moving average, what do you notice right now? You notice that not only did it break this trend, it's starting to go green on the John Carter. And what did we just get in the last 3 days? So for the stock pick of next year, the number one pick that Joel's going, actually, this is my number 2 pick. The number 2 pick is going to be Disney. Nobody can pick Disney. I picked PayPal so far. I picked Disney. All right. It's on video. Y'all see it. Those are my 2 so far. All right. And I'm going to pick some other ones as we go. All right. Let's look at SoFi. All right. Let's look at SoFi. I know I got jokes on jokes on jokes. Try to keep y'all entertained. All right. SoFi is a fintech company. It's fairly new, just IPO'd, very volatile stock. What do y'all notice? We ain't doing nothing but ranging. We ain't doing nothing but ranging. Y'all see this? We ain't doing nothing but ranging. Y'all see that? What? I mean, that's the Mona Lisa. And where are we at? We at the bottom of the range. Y'all want to buy low, sell high? Buy here. No, I think it can go lower, Joe. I mean, if you see the bad boy go here, it go up, it go here, it go up, and now we here. I just think bad traders are the ones that you just don't want to buy. You're just trying to make an excuse not to buy this stock. Buy it. Now, if you want to wait until it goes blue on the squeeze, since it's going green on the Carter, all right, I understand that. But this is where you buy a stock like this. All right. So in the third round, Joel is picking SoFi, PayPal, SoFi, and Disney SoFi. All right, that's 3. Tell me how they did after a year. Maybe all of them will go down. Y'all can call me a terrible picker. All right, Shauna said, I have to get to bed, but if you can, please talk about your thought process when you decide to sell a stock in your portfolio after holding for a few years. All right. I believe I forgot what country you're in. I don't think it's Germany. I forgot. Anyway, but so my process for selling a stock that I've been holding for years is you gotta think about the end product, right? So when I was in Tesla, I was only in Tesla for about a 4 to 5 year period, and my goal was to have enough money so I can go buy a Tesla, right? So you got to figure out what your goals are for that particular stock. I own a whole bunch of Jumia right now. I ain't selling Jumia until I prove everybody in the room wrong that it was one of the greatest calls in history. That's my goal for it. I ain't never selling it until it makes me a 3, 4, 500% return so I can say I told you so. All right. But I might treat something like Apple a little different. So Apple, so my Apples, my Microsofts, my Googles, they grew in size, they grew in size very quickly. So I have a rule, my personal rule is I have a percentage of my account that's in a stock. And that rule is if one of my positions becomes my whole portfolio, I have to trim some of that position. So let's say you started out by buying 10 stocks for $100. Nine of the stocks don't do anything. One of your stocks goes from 100 to 10,000. So now your account is worth, 10,100. Now, anytime that stock goes up or down, your whole portfolio is going to fluctuate. If it drops 20%, your whole portfolio drops 20%. So what I try to do sometimes is I try to make my account balanced so that these are for my larger accounts. Now, this isn't for my medium term or my short term, but my longer term accounts, I will adjust those positions and maybe reinvest it into something else that can grow in value. But everybody's going to have a different scenario for what they want to do with that particular stock. So I encourage you to talk to a professional or talk to another friend, trader, or somebody that you can have somebody that can go over the same trades with you, or, book a one-on-one consultation with me so we can talk about your plan for that particular stock. The other rule that I have, because that was a little complicated, the easiest rule is that if you buy a stock and it doubles in value, you sell half of it, you let the rest run forever. That's the easiest rule, right? You take out your initial investment. I buy something for $200, it goes to $400. I take out my $200, I let my profits run forever because now you're playing with the house's money. All right. So you can scale out of that particular trade, but it depends on whatever your goal is. And if it's met that particular goal, you can skim it and you can start putting it in other things. I use a lot of my Tesla I used a lot of my Tesla profits to reinvest it, what was left over, to reinvest it into stuff like Ford and General Motors and Lucid. And then I ended up making bigger gains in those stocks than I would have in Tesla. So that's what a lot of your mutual funds and your pension funds are doing too. They're just taking a lot of their profits, but they're not rolling it into other sectors. They're literally rolling it into smaller companies that can literally give them the same move that the earlier stock has. So I made a comment in the room where I would say Tesla is the next Ford or the next General Motors, and that's confused a lot of people because I get all type of flack. Joe, Tesla is Ford can never compare with Tesla, and I'm like, I'm not talking about the technology, people. Even though Ford's been around the longest, I'm strictly talking about the investing side. When I'm buying stock, I'm strictly talking from the investor side. So when I say Ford is the next Tesla or General Motors is the next Tesla, that means that if its market cap is 50 or 60 billion dollars and it runs to 500 billion, I can make, 10 times my money. That is huge in the stock game, and you guys got to overcome uh your um your feelings for that particular company and start buying robotically. And that's what I did. That's how I was able to get that Lucid pick, which was the number one NASDAQ mover of the year. right? And I called it. Nobody in the room is gonna give me props for it because, like I told y'all before, us black people, we have issues with praising each other. I don't know where it came from. All right, maybe we got in trouble during our slave days and we had to keep everything to ourselves and we had to just stay humble and eat our humble pie. I don't know where that came from, but other races don't operate that way. It's only in the black community. So we just got to overcome stuff like that and start, helping each other, praise each other, so that other people can get on the bandwagon as well. All right, we got Sean asking about, I think that's Sprint. So let's look at Sprint. No, that's What the heck is this? Centene Leon. I hope that's the right stock. But then it looks like you wrote SE. So I'll pull up this one. It doesn't really look like much. Looks like it just IPO. I don't know if it's a $1 billion stock or not. As far as it's, even looking here using my drawing tools, looks like it broke trend, started to go green. Hasn't gone off on the squeeze yet, so you're good. But you got your highs sitting at 78. You might want to set your alerts here, but it looks like it's ranging. All right. This is a head and shoulders pattern, though. So be careful. It could go back to $39 if we roll over. So if you get a couple of red candles on the TTM trend, it's probably going to go down to your $39 range. Now, C Unlimited has been a very hot stock. I'm surprised it's not number one on a lot of the list. And that's that SE that you guys want me to look at. So let's look at this one. It's been performing very well at the 200 day. Y'all see that? All the way back to, this is 2018. From 2018, every time we hit the 200-day moving average, we went green. It went blue on the squeeze. You ended up making money. 200-day, green on the John Carter. Squeeze went off a little bit late, but that lets you know that move was real. You made money. Then all it did was trend on this line. Y'all see that? I'm ambidextrous. I'm doing this with my left hand. That boy right there, talented. He do charts with his left and right hand. All right, it hit the 200-day, went green on the John Carter, went blue on the squeeze, made you a whole bunch of money. The magic show. Now, what are we doing right now? Guys, this might be a little early for C Limited. It might be early because we did break the trend. I get that. I don't see any green candles on the John Carter. I see one that's forming today. All right, so be careful. If you see another candle form on that squeeze, then you might want to take a chance on C Limited. All right, let's look at Luminata. Sean, these are some interesting stocks you giving me, brother. Lemonade. All right, Lemonade. All right, let's look at Lemonade. Lemonade is one of those Cathie Wood stocks like Palantir. So be careful. There's a way to trade these high beta, high moving stocks. Right now, this ain't the time to buy this stock. I'm going to tell y'all why. 3 things I noticed. Don't come to me 3 months later saying, look, Joe, now we sitting at $76. I missed out. From where we are today, you can wait 3 days and buy this, people. Y'all swear you're going to look up one day and we're going to be at 180. We're not going to. The stock probably only averages $3 or $4 or $5 or $7 or $10 move a day. It ain't going to be at 100 unless something extraordinary comes out. So give it some time. But look at what I noticed. Look. It's going down. Why y'all buying this as it's going down? Buy low, sell high, Joe. Buy low, sell high. Buy low, sell high. No. You want to buy low, sell high, but wait for the lows to kick in. Buy low, sell high. Everybody was talking about buy low, sell high, Joel. Then it dropped from 80 to 70. Buy low, sell high, Joel. Then it dropped to 50. Buy low, sell high. Now it's at 40. Now you don't have no more money to put into it. I'm not saying you, Sean, because I know Sean. Sean's a millionaire, y'all. I just put it out there. All right. So we talk about stocks all the time. He don't be saying much in the room. He one of them. He humble, but if you go on his page, he got his muscles out like this. Sean's the millionaire muscle man. Anyway, Sean's gonna kick my butt for saying that. But we need to get drinks one day, brother. But when this breaks trend and it goes blue, right? If it breaks trend and it goes blue, right, it should go up, to the 76 mark. But I wouldn't be buying it yet. I know the squeeze is going off here, but I would wait until I get a couple of green candles. I know this was a fake out right here, but what you didn't see go off is you didn't see the squeeze go off. Okay. Well, I take that back. You did see it go off right here. I probably would have taken a shot right there in the 76 area. So if you did do that, you got faked out and it went down. Guys, that happens. It happens to the best of us. All right. You just got to know when it happens, why it happens, and then decide where you want to go from there. But most of the time, 90% of the time, if this bad boy breaks trend, goes green, then goes blue on that squeeze, you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right. What about AI sticks for 2022? AI ticker symbols or AI? I know you said sticks. Oh, I guess you meant stocks. But what about AI stocks? If you guys can give me a couple of artificial intelligence stocks, I'll pull them up and see what we're talking about. Like what I've learned about the stock market, guys, is just because everybody gets hype about the electric car space doesn't mean that it's going to run today or next week or next year or the year after. But what you can do is you can watch the charts, put yourself in position to make money so that when these hedge funds decide we're about to drop billions in it, you're there to make money with it. But trying to time the market is the worst way of investing on the planet. It just is. And I had to learn the hard way. But I love the electric car. I love the virtual reality. I even love the metaverse stock. But guys, the metaverse might not even kick off for 25 more years. Y'all know that? It might not even pop off for 20 to 25 more years. So we investing in it now, and we're so early, we can't make any money. So what I want people to do is if you hear about a space that you like, start buying the picks and shovels. Like there's a saying, like instead of investing in gold, why don't you invest in the shovels and the picks that's used to get the gold? All right, because that's where the money is going to be made. And I want you guys to kind of approach the market the same way. Somebody said what we need to buy right now. Somebody's asking Pete. Pete be coming in and out sometimes, but it's 2:00 here. So it's like 11 o'clock. Like he live all the way out in San Francisco. I'm sorry, he live out in Oakland. I know I'm putting his business out there, but he lives out in California. So he might not even be up right now, especially during the holidays. But shout out to Pete. Got another Facebook user that says Amazon, Microsoft, and Apple will be healthcare stocks in the next 3 years. AWS, which is Amazon Web Services, is used to store 50% of all genomic sequencing data. Y'all hear that? Amazon, Microsoft, and Apple. Now, this is the truth. My wife, and we're going to get over the situation she's in. I know you guys have been sending out a lot of prayers about her health and stuff. It's just a short-term thing that she's going through, that she's going to overcome. But she's had to wear her Apple Watch and she's had to wear some other devices just to get her oxygen, her O2 levels, and some other things. I didn't even realize y'all know that your Apple Watch right now, I lie to you not, Your Apple Watch right now is taking your pulse. If you have an up-to-date watch, it's taking your pulse, it's taking your algorithms, and it can give you a what's it called? A like when you're getting your heart scanned, or I forgot the name of it, but it can like my I'm putting my niece's business out there, but she put on her watch, and we looked it up, and it told her that she needs to go get a checkup because there was an irregular pattern in her heartbeat. I had a friend of mine I have a friend of mine that just got COVID up in Pennsylvania. You guys know who I'm talking about. All right, very famous person who has COVID right now. And that individual went to a party, went to I forgot what city they went to with their cousins, ended up getting COVID, right? Came back home, and the Apple Watch told this dude, like, your temperature is rising right now, and there's patterns in your heartbeat that's just irregular right now. You might want to go check, and told him his O2 stats or something was off, and it was letting him know that his body was changing because the cat had COVID. He knew 2 days before he ended up getting symptoms, which is crazy, right? So I know I'm getting excited, right? Because I've seen it firsthand help out a lot of individuals. My next door neighbor broke their hip a couple of weeks back. Well, they didn't break their hip, but they fell, and we thought that they broke their hip. And she didn't own an Apple Watch. Y'all know that day I bought my mom an Apple Watch for Christmas. Like that day, the minute I saw that message, I bought my mother that Apple Watch because I know that if my neighbor had on that Apple Watch, not only will it have noticed that she was in a certain position and probably would call emergency on its own, but she would have been able to call anybody she needed to with that watch on. So I know I'm saying a lot because remember, when I talk about the stock market, guys, I make it personal. That's just who I am. So I try to relate a lot of the stuff that we're talking about with real life situations so that it doesn't seem like it's just business, right? There's a reason why some of these stocks are doing well. There is an emotional side of it. And with these companies going the healthcare route, that's probably going to allow a lot of these companies to go to the next level as far as market capitalization. So be on the lookout for it. Sean said, "Is there a way to set an alert for when a stock hits?" Oh yeah. There is. So he asked, "Is there a way to set an alert for when a stock will hit the 200-day moving average, or do you have to go through each one individually?" All right, there are scanners out there. Okay, you literally, I haven't created the scanner for myself. Excuse me. You can go on YouTube right now and say, "How do I create a scanner on the Thinkorswim platform for the 200-day moving average?" Now, you could have the you could have the whole New York Stock Exchange, like every stock possible when it hit its 200-day, or you can set up a criteria. So I encourage you guys to do a criteria, like maybe stocks that are, maybe have two different alerts. Maybe have one for stocks that are $50 billion or higher, or $200 billion or higher, or your personal stock list you can do. But I personally like going through the process anyway. I know you want to just look up every stock that's underneath the 200-day. There's websites where people give you alerts for that. People have been asking me all the time, "Joel, can you just create a alert service where you tell us all the 200-day moving stocks that come out?" And I'm like, "Well, I already in my alert service create an alert to tell y'all the stocks that I would buy that's under the 200-day." And you literally get an alert that says stocks that are on sale that are underneath the 200-day moving average. All right. So that's an alert that I already provide. But I'm not going to go through every stock. I'm just going to go through my personal stock list. But that's a really good question. For those that don't know how to set your alert, let's say you wanted to set an alert on Lemonade, right? And you want to set it for 39.20. You literally just need to right click on your page, go to the bottom, not the bottom, go here where it says create alert, and my platform is going to send me an alert when Lemonade is at or below 39.58. You can change this number to whatever you want to. And then when I hit create, bam, there's my alert, right? When that stock gets below that price, I'm going to get an alert. Now, you can set up the platform to send you that alert through a text message. I get that all the time. Or you can have it go through your message board. So when you go to messages, you can see your alerts there. Y'all see my alerts here? All right. There's my alerts. Okay. And that's where you can find your alerts, which is interesting. I haven't even bought anything on here recently. Oh, this is talking about a different account. So, guys, I have several accounts that are set up. I don't know if you guys know that. You can go when you have TD Ameritrade, you can set up multiple accounts. As you can see, this account ends in 34. It's telling me that one of my smaller accounts that's not $25,000 or higher, I only have 2 day trades left. Isn't that kind of cool? And I got that through Messenger, and it's giving me messages across all of my accounts. Very cool feature that you guys can use. All right, somebody asked, Joel, on a 50-day moving average, do you also give it 50 days using a day chart? Yes, the answer is yes. Whatever the moving average is, to keep it simple for you guys, because I got your testers that come in and say, well, Joel, why didn't you just do it in 20 days? Like, guys, as an educator, I have to have a universal way of talking to everyone. So the rule of thumb is whatever the moving average is, you give yourself that much time. It hits the 200-day, give yourself 200 days. It hits the 50-day, give yourself 50 days. It hits the 20-day, give yourself 20 days. But yes, the answer is 50 days. So the reason why they're asking is they want to look at Microsoft. Now, you guys are looking at my regular chart. We're going to go to a more advanced chart that's going to have the 50-day on it. The 50-day is that red line. Now, Microsoft is hitting that 50-day right now. Well, it hit the 50-day back here. I personally would have waited until it went a little blue on the squeeze, maybe start going up again. And yeah, I want to go to the options market and give myself 50 days. So if I was trading this, I would go to Microsoft options. I would go 50 days out. So if it's December, I'm going to go all the way out to February. That's right. I said February. I'm going to find the one with the most options contracts, see if I can see something unusual. And then that's probably the one that I would buy, that 345 strike. Now, I like to look for unusual options activity. That means I need to see like 1,000 contracts or more. I do like this open interest right here that's sitting at 365, but I'm a volume guy. I don't really care about the open interest. But check this out. Y'all see how February 18th, the options increase big time on the open interest? There's more interest in the February 18th option than it is the February 4th. It's going to cost you more, but why not, right? I see that there's 700 here. I might as well just pay 700 and go to 350, right? You got more options contracts there. Now, the most contracts are going to be right here at the 1,080 strike. So if you can afford that, that's the strike you buy. Doesn't mean that it's going to win. No, nothing is 100% in life except death and taxes. That's it. All right. So just make sure that you guys be careful. All right. One of the Facebook users says, I like Airbnb. Well, let's take a look at Airbnb. I like renting Airbnbs and I love trading Airbnb. And I forgot I think it's ABNB. There we go. Airbnb. Let's go back to a clean chart because that's what this is for. Y'all see on my screen, I already have that it's 25% off when it reaches this area. Airbnb was 25% off, hit the 200-day, got above it, started to go green on the John Carter. Ooh, 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 that's what we like to see. But there is a but. Yes, there is a but. We never broke the trend going to the downside. Y'all see this? We never broke this trend. never broke this trend, right? I mean, it looks like it's trying. I need a defining break. Need the break, hit like 175, 180. It'll drop a little bit, then it'll start going up. So watch this one carefully. All right. I like the stock too. If it ever gets lower than that, I might just buy it just to be buying it. Go ahead and set my alert in front of y'all. All right. So that was Airbnb. Monique said, Sophie, yes. All right. SoFi, yes. A lot of people buying that stock right now. It's on my list though. Can't pick it. SoFi. What did I pick? SoFi. What else did I pick? PayPal, Disney, SoFi, PayPal, Disney, SoFi. All right. So Sean said Sentinel. Sentinel competes with CrowdStrike. So CrowdStrike, Sentinel, they're all cybersecurity companies. All right. So a cybersecurity company is doing well because, man, did y'all know that I forgot the number? It's something crazy. Like out of all of the Fortune 500 companies, like 25% of them, I think it's even higher than that, got hacked. And when I say got hacked, like big time got hacked, and they not telling you, right? A lot of y'all information, a lot of you guys that are scared to have your information out there, like it's out there. Sorry. And you probably got an alert, but you got so many alerts and you got so used to it that you're just like, F it. If they whatever they want to know about me, they know it now. But these cybersecurity companies are the ones, like it's interesting to me that guys, uh what was it? Was it Microsoft? Somebody had a contract with the Pentagon. So Amazon and Microsoft been competing with getting the Pentagon's contract. And then I think Microsoft ended up getting the contract. I might be wrong. It might have been Amazon. It was one or the other. And then whoever got the contract, like within, I think 6 months later, the Pentagon got hacked. And then when the Pentagon got hacked, I don't know why they continued with that contract, but that was an issue. But let's look at what is it? CrowdStrike. All right, so CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike just looks like it's heading for some support. All right, and one thing we didn't do today is we didn't look at like the information about the company. So like CrowdStrike, for example, CrowdStrike's been doing really well for 5 years. The stock has been, the stock is, it rose what 300, 400%. All right, just in the last year, you could have gotten close to doubling your money, from the lows to the highs. So if you got a 40 or 50% return on CrowdStrike, I forgot, I think I'm up 60 or 70% myself. It's a pretty decent beta stock, right? So you got CrowdStrike, you got what's the other one? So when I'm looking at these competing companies, I want to see. So let's say Sean wanted to buy Sentinel S and CrowdStrike, right? How do you compare them? Well, first I need to see how big Sentinel is, right? So Sentinel One is a $13 billion company. All right, it's not going to show its beta because it just IPO'd. So in the last year, it went from June till now. The company hasn't even been out that long, right? So from June until now, there is a rule in the room. We do not buy any stock that IPOs until it's been out for at least 90 days. As long as the company is out for 90 days, we're not going to buy that company. So if it IPO'd in June, we're going to wait July, August, September. If you had waited until September, you would have been able to buy the stock. It was higher than when it first opened, but you would have been able to get away from this dip, buy it. It went up in price, and then maybe, dollar cost average now. So some people are getting caught with their pants down right now. But what's important is that it's 13 billion in size. That's the only thing that matters to me, because if it's competing with a company like CrowdStrike, and CrowdStrike is 50 billion and this company is 13 billion and it's growing faster, you know, you're probably going to get more bang for your buck in Sentinel. So, that's how I look at particular stocks when I'm buying them in pairs. I'll buy both of them. All right. So we have a question that came in that says, so we need to wait for the squeeze to turn green to get in also. That's just my rule. I know Noble uses the squeeze also. I don't know how he trades it. We both generally have the same we both have the right direction, right? But his entry points and his triggers are a little bit different than mine. But if you're trading the way that I'm trading, yes. My first, I would say I probably trust the John Carter trend first, making sure that it has those two or three candles, the squeeze. So if I'm in it and I see that squeeze go off, then I'm like, ooh, I just feel a little bit better once that blue goes off. Or you can wait until it goes off. And then if you get, two, three of those squeezes going off and then that bad boy starts running, you can put your stop at break even and then you can keep it moving. And when they're talking, and for those that are just joining, the squeeze is just this line down here. So I tell everybody, anybody using the MACD and the RSI is just like buying Intel and Cisco. Like you probably 75 years old. All right, ain't nobody using that crap no more. This is the new MACD. This is the new and improved crypto semiconductor NVIDIA metaverse lower indicator that we're starting to use now that nobody else is using because we want to set ourselves apart. And I'm done with the MACD and the RSI. I don't need that anymore once I had the squeeze. And what I love about the squeeze is that the squeeze is still created by Mr. John Carter. Mr. John Carter created 5 different indicators. Shout out to, I forgot who sent it to me. Shout out to Derek. I think Derek sent me another version I had never seen before, like 7 or 8 months ago, that I haven't revealed to you guys yet. So what I do is I don't really reveal anything to you guys until I test it. Some people just take something and then because they know it, they'll just teach it to you. I don't do that. I want you guys to trust what I do. I just back test a lot. So, I want to make sure that I made money on it, that it's sound, so that when I do these magic shows, I don't have to do a recall. Some of you guys got recalls on your own studies. I don't like recalling and saying, "Oh, y'all can't use this no more because it don't work." I don't recall once I put something into play. So, I just want to make sure before I reveal the new John Carter with all these other signals and stuff on it, I'll reveal it maybe sometime next year. Sean said you got to keep me on your toes if you can read. All right, let's look at ENPH. ENPH. All right, so before we look at Enphase, it's an energy company. So let's go to Enphase. What I want you guys to start doing is I want you to, in 2022, start analyzing these stocks for what they are. Pull up Enphase on Yahoo, figure out if it's in a downtrend or an uptrend. That's very important to let you know. Look and see what it's done over the last year. This bad boy literally almost lost money over the last year, just barely. It just barely made money. It don't look like something I want to buy. It just don't. 5 years ago, it went up in price. So I can see why you're buying it. So I take that back. But if I'm going to buy something like this, I'm not expecting to make money over a year. You see the highs and the lows. The last year it jumped, but it still ended the year at the same price. So if I wanted to buy something like this, I'm thinking 3, 4, 5 years down the line. And I'm thinking, how much can it grow? If it's at 25 billion, how long is it going to take to get to 100 billion? Well, when's the last time it grew 4 times its value? Right? What's half of 180? 90 when it was $45. When it was $45 in 2020, shoot, it was $45 then. Dang, and then in a 1 year period, well, in a 2 year period, that bad boy grew 4 times its value. That's crazy. So yeah, you can get some beta out of this stock if it starts to move. And it just looks like it's just doing a regular pullback that it automatically does. So if I was looking at this, this is exactly how I would trade it. First of all, it's sitting at the 200-day. So y'all should be thinking about at least buying it. I'm also going to give myself some time. I'm not buying this, guys, to make money in 2 weeks. I'm buying this to make money probably in 2 years. When it drops in price, you got to ask yourself, how much does it drop? So you just take out this little tool and you say, all right, it dropped 50%. That's normal. It dropped 50%. It goes here, it dropped 30%. So that was 50, but that was, that was 2021. Then it just dropped again. So it dropped 50, 30, and now that's 40. 50, 30, 40. So 40 is already the average. It actually looks like this is where you should be buying it, to be honest. Maybe give yourself a little bit of room. Looks like this is where it wants to go. All right. But once it hits it, I'm going to wait until this happens. I'm going to wait until it starts to go blue. It's already gone green. That's the confirmation though. Went green, confirmation, stay in. You haven't got a confirmation yet. Okay. So I'm going to wait for the trend to break and then I'm going to get that confirmation. Sean said, stop talking about me. I know I've been putting a lot of people business out today. Sorry. Got emotional. What does y'all need to hit up Pete? Pete inbox gonna get blown up. Sorry, Pete. I'm gonna send Pete a message and say I apologize for putting his name out there like that. He gonna be like, man, I'm just a regular guy that buy crypto. But I'm like, yeah, but you live in San Francisco, so you get to see all the cryptocurrency companies. That's why he knows about them. All right. Oh, we gotta go grab Jason and tell him to come on so he can tell us what stocks to buy. He been quiet lately. Jason's the scientist of the room. He been real quiet in 2021. It's because he's he's raising them kids. I know how that can be. All right. Somebody said facts. I have had customers that lives have been saved from their Apple Watches. So obviously, I must be way. You guys got a lot of comments since I've been talking about the watches. But yeah, you hear that? This Facebook user. If you want your name to be seen, you guys can go to the top of the page and maybe go to the StreamYard duck, and then it will allow you to show your face. If not, I understand. Sometimes you guys want to stay anonymous. I get it. But for those that want to be seen, you can change it so that when I show your name, it will show your face. Oh, yeah, it was called an EKG. You can get an EKG through your Apple Watch. That's crazy. EKG. Somebody said you in these shades. Guys, I got lights on me. I got a light shining here, a light shining here, and a light shining here so that I can shine bright. So I can shine bright like a diamond. So I would be squinting if I was doing this session. So that's why I have on the shades, and they're blue. That's why I'm able to read. All right. Now don't get me wrong. Y'all know everybody can't just wear shades, indoors. I've been doing it since college. So, everybody can't pull that off. Wear some Gucci shades, at the Thanksgiving table, but I can do it. All right. But this time it's for these lights. Y'all funny though. Jerome said Amazon lost the contract. Oh, Amazon lost the contract to Microsoft. All right. And then Microsoft had the Pentagon's I mean, guys, we talking about the Pentagon, like military, whatever. And then the Pentagon got hacked. You would have thought that they canceled it and went back to Amazon. But that's another reason why Amazon stock dropped. A lot of you guys didn't know that. A lot of the reason why Amazon stock did poorly this year, Disney and Amazon were just poor performers, was they lost that huge contract with the Pentagon. But it's Amazon. Amazon to get their money back at some point. All right, Garnell said, I've 30 day, I've been trading 30 days doing your system. I'm ready to test the water. Which two positions would you recommend for scalping? All right, guys, when you're scalping, a scalp is an intraday trade. When you're scalping, you always start with Apple and the spiders. All right, the Apple, the spiders, and then maybe the NASDAQ. All right, so scalping. So let's say I wanted to trade Apple today and I was scalping, right? First of all, I'm only going to buy Apple if it's up today. I'm going to short it if it's down. I also want to know how much Apple moves. So before I even trade Apple, I need to know that Apple moves $4 a day. Some of y'all don't know. Some of y'all don't know that. As a scalper, if you don't know how much that stock move, you ain't no scalper. You ain't no scalper that can scalp with me, because I'm gonna need you to know everything about that stock or that position before we go out there in the waters, right? So if I know that Apple moves $4, I know it's either gonna move $4 up, it's gonna move $4 down. But I'm gonna use a specific system that I only use called the What Would Joel Do method. I'm gonna use my 1 minute chart. And if Apple is below this this yellow line, y'all listen to what I'm about to say, because y'all make scalping and trading hard. I'm the best at what I do as far as making this stuff simple. I woke up at 9:30, and if Apple, I know it moves $4. If Apple is below this yellow line, it's probably got a high chance it's going to move $4 to the downside. If Apple is above this yellow line, you have a very high chance that it's probably going to run to the upside, $4. So at 9:30, I'm not trying to just buy Apple because I'm a guru and I think I can trade the open. You're going to get your heads cut off. So what happened at 9:30? Well, Joel, at 9:30, we were underneath here. Yeah. If we were underneath this yellow line, what did I just say was going to happen? You were probably going to drop about what? $4, right? That's kind of the goal of how much money you want to make. So if Apple prints a high of 179, I'm thinking about getting what? I'm thinking Apple can probably drop to 175. That's my goal. I'm going to do the opposite. This bad boy goes up, down. Joel probably shorting right around 945. Y'all don't ever really hear me talking about shorting. Joel's going to be shorting somewhere around here. I would have made all of this little bit of money right here. The goal would have tried to squeeze this out to the ATR, which was 174, 175. It didn't quite get there. We formed a hammer right here at the bottom of this move. Why didn't we go to 174? I don't know. Did we get to it? Oh, we got to 177. And it looks like it doesn't want to break 177. Okay. All right. But today also is options expiration day. And if I was shorting, before I even short, guys, and I'm scalping, what is the option I'm going to take? I'm going to pick the option that has the most contracts. I'm probably going to pick this option right here. All right. But because the number is higher, so we can see real true numbers, we'll pick this one. So let's say we took that short at 945. How much money could you have made today? Let's say you shorted Apple, you woke up this morning, you saw it underneath the Ichimoku, you decide to use the What Would Joel Do method, because Joel makes money. Joel's proving it to you guys. It's Friday. You get in at 9:40. Where the heck is 9:45? Oh, here it is. You get in at 945 on that option. That option goes from 185. Didn't quite do well. Did okay. It went from about $180 to $280. You could have made a quick little $90 off your 180. I mean, who wouldn't want a 50% return? That's a 50% return trading my method. How long did it take for you to make that money? I have a system out called 1 hour trading. It's called 60-minute trading. All right. You would have made money in 20 minutes. Would have made a 50% return in 20 minutes. And then it reversed, went back to zero. Fine. It was still up 50%. All right. And then it did it again. And it couldn't break that 271. So that's scalping at your best. All right. Trading the way that I trade using the what would Joe do method. All right. Arnessa says, let's look at GPN as an option. All right. So what is GPN? GPN. You got me on that one. You have gotten the guru. When y'all give me a stock. Oh man, we just talked about global payments the other day. I don't know why I don't want to know about global payments. Guys, global payments is like one of those great fintech stocks. All right. I don't know why I don't want to like it. All right, so GPN as an option. Now you said GPN as an option, but I don't know what time frame. Are you looking at it as a day trade, or are you looking at it as a long-term trade, or a switch? Like what's the time frame? That's the whole beauty of the what would Joe do method. I gotta go soon too. The beauty of the what would Joe do method is the fact that you can ask yourself a question before you even take the trade. Like you literally know the numbers. Like if you said, Joel, I want to be in this stock for 18 days. I'm like, oh, you want to be in it for 18 days? Let's look at a 1 hour chart. We're going to buy it at the money, the one with the most volume. All right. And then we're going to buy it when it goes up, down, up. Right. Start going, green on the John Carter, blue on the squeeze. Very simple concept. All right. So I got to know the days. But let's just say somebody give me a number. Somebody give me any number. 1, 2, the number between 1 and 100. Somebody. 1 and 100. Somebody. Oh, she said February. All right. So we're going to go out to February. So if it's December and we go out to February, that's a 60-day option. Just because it's 60 days alone, I know I'm using a day chart, period. I'm not using no other chart. I don't have to look at no month chart. I don't have to look at no minute chart to try to figure out the best price to get in. I'm going to look at a day chart. Now, because it's 60 days, I can also use the 50-day moving average because it's 60 days. If I use the 50-day moving average, I can go out at least 50 days. Now, why am I not using a 15-minute and a 1 hour and a 1 day and all of that crap? Because y'all are on information overload. If you can't trade a clean chart, one specific chart for your strategy and make money there first, it ain't no way you're going to be able to flip to and from charts. It's just not going to happen. So we know to use the day chart, which is the most common chart used. She wants to go at least 50 days out. Now, why is she going 50 days out? Well, for one, the 50-day moving average is angled down real hard. Now, in my opinion, it looks like you're just picking 50 days just to go 50 days. I'm not trying to beat you up. I'm just saying I don't know where the 50 days came from or February. But maybe when we pull up February options, there's going to be something there that makes us want to take the trade. And the answer is in February, there's some unusual options activity at the 150 strike. Now, is Joel just going to take that strike just because it's just because it's 150? No. Because I want to make sure that it's realistic. Like, can we actually get the 150? It's $14 away from where we are right now. Okay. It's $14 away. Also, GPN, how much does it move on a daily basis? Be $14 away. We going 50 days out, and the stock averages about a $4 move a day. So even if it went its max in 3 days, it's going to take 3 days just to run to wherever we run into now. I know a lot of you guys that will take a $14 strike out of the money trade, and the stock only moves $4 a day. And you'll take a $30 strike way out the money, which is great if you're day trading. It's terrible if you're holding it overnight. So so when we look at our chart, we know it moves about $4. We check it out and we say, all right, 150 is right here. So you're like, hold up. That seems like a pretty decent trade. I'm going to give myself 50 days, and it only has to be higher than, now it's going to have to be higher than the premium. It's going to be 150 plus the premium, right? Which might put you at, I don't know. Let's go look at it again. Oh, I don't need to go there. It looks like it has to go to 152.85. You got to add the strike plus the premium, the strike plus the premium, the strike plus the premium, the strike plus the premium. So we got to go to 152.85. So you telling me that we just have to be higher than 152.85 by February? That's below the 200-day moving average. That's actually a decent trade. Miss Arnessa, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Sorry. Miss Allen. All right. So it's going blue on the squeeze. I think you're a little bit late. You should have been in way back here. So you're a little late to the party. All right. So be careful. You're a little late to the party, but you're giving yourself enough time. All right. So that's how Joel would analyze that particular stock. Okay. Gotta go soon. All right. Somebody wants to look at Jerome wants to look at Infosys. It's Infy? You sure? Oh, it is. We at all-time highs. Please don't buy it today. Now, when Joel says don't buy it today, what does that actually mean? There's so many different ways you can take don't buy it today. Don't buy it today could mean don't buy it today because it can come down to a lower price. But don't buy it today does not mean that it's 3:00 right now that you can't make money in the next hour. Because there's some super traders in the room that are like, Joel, I don't care. And that's what I want you guys to start understanding. Like, who are you talking to? Like, what would Joel do in this situation? Well, hey, you got to figure out what time frame you're talking about. If you came to me and said, Joel, I'm just trying to make money in the next 15 minutes. What does this day chart have to do with what's happening in 15 minutes? Nothing. If I want to make money in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to pull up my 1-minute chart. I'm going to see if we're above the Ichimoku and see if it's going blue. And then I'll decide if I want to trade it in the next hour. And the answer would be no. I would not be trading it to the upside in the next hour. To be honest, it looks like it wants to go down. All right. So I would have been right by telling you not to buy it now for long term, and I would have been right for short term. But the problem is a lot of you guys don't know who the heck you talking to. So a day trader is listening to an investor tell them not to buy it. But the key was, what's the time frame? Because what if I said I want to make money in the next 14 days? 14. Joel says anything that's 30 days or less overnight, I probably need to be using an hour chart. I'm going to use the same system. If we are above the yellow line, we probably going up. If we going below the yellow line, we going down. I'm telling y'all this before we even look at the chart. So if I want to make money in the next 14 days, I'm going to use an hour chart. Totally different strategy. You probably going to see the stock look totally different, and it does. Y'all see how this now looks like it's going up? And you're confused now. That's why I don't teach y'all to go from chart to chart, because it's confusing. Y'all don't know what to look for. And then you make all types of mistakes because you haven't learned how to master one. Master one for the time frame first. Because Joel would have said, If I'm trying to make money in the next 14 days on this trade, the 14 days are over. And you're like, how did you get that? Because if you trade my system, you know that when I'm using a 1 hour chart and I'm using this Ichimoku, if we get above it, it's going to run for 10 days. And then it's going to go down for 10 days. And it's going to run for 10 days. Then it's going to go down for 10 days. And it's already run from Wednesday, December the 16th. Today is December the 30th. That's your 14-day run right there. God dang, Joe, I ain't never in my life had somebody break this down in such a most simplistic way. And I say, because you're probably not learning from somebody who trades the market. All the markets. I see the market like the Matrix from 50 different ways. That's how I'm able to figure out what's going on. Doesn't necessarily mean that that's what's going to happen. But more than likely, if you go back and you look at his patterns, and you say, well, how many days does it stay underneath the yellow line? And you go here and it says 11:22, and then it finally gets above it on 12/8, right? That's about 14 days. Y'all see how I easily picked that up? And then I say, well, let me see if it did it again. When it went above this yellow line on November the 8th, when did it finally break below it? November 22nd. Guess what, guys? That's 14 days. You got a 14-day move here, a 14-move day here. You got another 14-day move here, so it's probably about to run down for 14 days. I sound like this because this is how I break down everything, why trading and investing is so easy to me, because I get in front of it. And I don't get in front of it from trend lines and resistance levels and what somebody on Reddit told me it's going to go to. All right, because they don't know who gonna buy it or not. But when it starts to run, you kind of know where maybe it can run to. All right, so that's how I would break something like Emphy down. All right, I got a man who gave me about 12. Terry gave me about 27 stocks. All right, what time is it? 3:05. It's New Year's Eve, right? I got a little bit of time, but I got to get out of here. So we're actually celebrating Christmas today, right? We had so many people that had COVID in our family. We actually celebrating Christmas today, and then two of my mother and her mother-in-law can't even participate because her mother-in-law got COVID, and my mom's in quarantine. So we still got a Christmas that's only involving half the members of the Atlanta family. So all prayers are out there for you guys. We are doing well. We trying to make it through this, but boy, oh boy, Omicron came in here and just wrecked shop across the whole nation. All right, let's look at Grow Generation on the 200-day. All right, Grow Generation. It's a cannabis stock. Cannabis stocks have been getting pummeled. All right, doesn't mean that it ain't gonna pick up one day. All right, so let's look at Grow Generations. Grow Generations made us a lot of money I made a whole bunch of money on Grow Generations. I made over 100% return. Me and Kramer sold it right around the same time. One of the best sales that I had. And then I put that money into, guess what? IIPR. So I was really flipping my money. Well, now Grow Generation is less than $1 billion in market cap. That normally doesn't happen, but this is a cannabis stocks and the whole cannabis community. What's happening now, guys, this is how it works. When you get a new asset class that forms, you're going to see it grow really, really fast. Think of .com. Think of cryptocurrency in 2018. Think of cannabis. Think of, I don't want to say this, think of electric cars right now. The space always gets hype. Everybody makes a whole bunch of money. Then that bubble bursts. And the only people that are left standing are the people that have the strong hands, the diamond hands. All right. That's what's happening in the cannabis space. The cannabis space is trying to wipe out everybody except people like me that are in cash that don't care because I've just been moving my money in the cannabis space. When the cannabis market hits again, it's going to hit so hard, it's going to leave a lot of y'all left behind. I've seen it happen in so many industries over the years. So if you're not paying attention to it and you're taking your money out of it, it's a bad mistake. It's going to run again, and it's going to run hard, and it's going to run fast, and it's going to run during a period where you wouldn't even expect it to run. It's just going to run because that's what the market does. It pays out 1 to 10% of people, and the other 90% has to watch in amazement. That's why 10% of the world owns 90% of it. But you got to put yourself in position to win. Grow Generation is one of those good, solid companies that when the market comes back, it's gonna be one of the winners. That one, Planet Hollywood, um, your Curaleaf, your IIPR, your Trulieve. These companies are still profit. Like I think Trulieve made like I don't want to put incorrect numbers out there, but some of these cannabis companies are profiting even though their stocks are going down because the stock is not the company and the company is not the stock in this world. And y'all got to start understanding that. Bezos made that comment. Bezos made that comment where there were times where his company was making a whole bunch of money, but investors just wasn't really into buying that company at that time. And then once they make their money from these other areas and there's no money to be made, they'll say, "Hey, you remember Amazon? The one of the top 3 companies in the world. Let's go start throwing our money in it now because it didn't really move the way everything else moved, like the Apples and the Googles. Amazon's going to have its day in the sun again. Grow Generation is going to do the same. So you got to learn how to pick and choose the companies that you feel has growth potential. And with it being less than $1 billion, the potential to the upside is ridiculous. Because if this company ever got to $4 or $5 billion, you're gonna make 5, 6 times your money. And if it gets to 7 billion, you just made 10 times your money. A $10,000 investment gonna be worth 100. $100,000 investment gonna be worth like a mill. So you guys got to understand that when you're looking at something like that. So when I see the chart and it looks like this, it looks scary. It looks scary as heck. But this better not be a 1 week option or a 7 day option. It better be something that you're investing in with the expectations of maybe not even getting paid for about 5 years. Every now and then you get lucky. Y'all know when I was buying Bitcoin in 2018, I didn't even expect my $5,000 to be worth $50,000 until like the year 2024. I was giving myself a lot of time for my money to grow 10 times its value. It actually ended up growing 10 times its value 2 years later. When I put my $500 investment in Ripple in December of 2017, I didn't expect that money to be worth 5,000 until maybe 5 years from then. Y'all know in 30 days that 500 was worth $7,000. I had to take my money. It happened way faster than I thought it was going to happen. Because you guys don't have goals for your stocks, y'all don't know when to hold them, you don't know when to fold them. And that's not my issue. It's just an issue that traders and investors have to have. You need to have those conversations with yourself. But that's Grow Generation. It looks like it can get as low as $7, but the trend has not changed to go back up. And you're not going to miss it. Like, I know you guys are like, it's 13 now. I don't want to buy it when it's 25. Yeah, but what if it goes from 25 to 100? Does it really even matter? I mean, it's going to be a higher return, yes, if you get it at 13 and it goes to 100 versus 25 to 100. But it might take 2 years for that to happen. And you could have been making your money somewhere else. So why not just wait until this trend breaks? It's got a downtrend right now. I promise you, you're not going to wake up and Grow Generation is going to be at $200 a share unless somebody buys out the company. Wait for the trend to break. Wait for it to go blue on the John Carter. Wait for it to go blue on the squeeze. You're going to be all right. All right. I spent a lot of time on that one. I'm going to breeze through these because I am getting tired and I need to get up out of here. All right. I have not eaten lunch yet, and I still got gifts to wrap. All right, we look like we're at a support area. Right here. All right, started to go green. First place we can go to is probably 182. All right, it's the squeeze is going off. We can probably get to about 150. Then you might be all right. You know, you might be, it might be off to the races to this 182 area. All right, you got a nice little trend going on right now. Let's see if there's any unusual options activity. I think I called that Simon. Sorry, that's Scott's Miracle Grow. All right, a lot of people love playing Scott's Miracle Grow. Instead of buying into the cannabis space, they'll buy into SMG because you got to plant the pot with something, right? So they're using Scott's Miracle Grow. So it's kind of like a way that you can be part of the cannabis space and not. But there's no volume in the options market. I would never buy options on this because you would never get out of it. Like the only way I would buy options in SMG is if I see over 1,000, but or if it's way out and I got time, but it doesn't look like enough time. All right, let's pull up CLF. Oh, Cleveland Cliffs. A lot of options. Let's look at this chart. Let's pull up. You know, I try to pull up a different chart for each one so I can give y'all a different view, just to keep you on your toes. Looks like it's going blue right here. We already got green candles, so if you want to take a shot at it, right? Looks like it's breaking trend. Even if you were taking a short-term play on Cleveland Cliffs, there's unusual options activity at the 21 strike. And if you go out to January 7th, you got unusual options activity at the 22.5 strike. All right, ET, what's that, etc. All right, you got energy transfer. These energy companies, boy, y'all are on them. I just don't buy them. I know about them, but I have to say my knowledge of the energy space, unless it's Exxon Mobil or Chevron, I don't really know too much about them. All right, but I know how to trade them. So you got it blue, it's still red, red, red. Wait for the trend to break. It hasn't broken to the upside above this 20 yet. So just wait, because this bad boy can roll over, guys, and continue to go lower. It just can. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen. Jerome said, Joel, do you consider the spread between the bid and the ask when evaluating options? No, I don't care. I pay the price I want to pay. So if you were looking at options, you can do half, but I mean, Thinkorswim is going to create the option for you. So if you were looking at this and y'all see how the bid and the ask are $14 apart, I would just go halfway and just pay 118, right? So I will hit this lock. It's saying 120. You can get away with 118. So if you want to try to get your option on sale, get the midway point between the bid and the ask. Somebody asked how many candles on the squeeze should be determined. Just one, because what matters is the green candles on the TTM trend. I just look for one blue candle on the squeeze. All right, I'm almost finished, bro. That you say plant the pot. You showing your age. Hey, I'm a OG. I'm an OG dinosaur. I'm still cool though. All right. My son asked me the other day if I could pick him up in the I-8 when we go back to school. That kind of made me feel kind of cool because, you know, it's a cool car, cool dad, and that's all I want to be for my sons. All right, so if you haven't bought any of my products, you can always go down. You can go to my PayHip. Today is what, the 31st. All of these packages are going up tomorrow. So whatever price you see here, it's going to be higher in 9 hours. So take advantage. A lot of you guys have been buying this. This is my #1 package. You get access to Webinar Week forever. If you own the Ultimate Everything package, you just got to flash it to me anytime you want to be part of Webinar Week if I'm offering it that month. Some people are doing Webinar Week through my Ultimate membership. You can do this through my app. You can pay $50 a month and you can have the Ultimate membership as well. You're going to have access to all the videos. Now, the videos are not going to be as up to date as the PayHip. I try to make the PayHip pretty fresh, so I try to put the more updated live version. The Ultimate memberships, you guys will have all the education. It just won't be the newer education, all right? But you're paying $50 a month. But you do have all my alerts. And that's what's really, really, really important. You're going to get access to all of my alerts anytime I'm buying something, unusual options activity, my percent gainers list. So, buy it. All right. So, happy new year to everyone. I'm coming to you guys from Decatur, where it's greater, and I'm out of here. Good luck, and I'll see you guys next year. A more positive year. Peace.